All right, let's jump right into this deep dive. We're prepping you for a footwear 3D developer interview. So we're talking about high-tech shoes, artistry, technology, sustainability. It's all got to come together. And this field is hot right now.
Definitely hot.
We've got RoleCatcher's career and interview guides. Those are our blueprints for this deep dive. It'll be like a crash course in interview awesomeness, just for you.
Exactly. We'll break down those common interview questions. We'll give you a glimpse of what the interviewers are really looking for, and then we'll help you create answers that will really make you shine.
Okay, love it. So what's the first question they're likely to ask?
Well, one of the most common ones you'll hear is, what experience do you have with 3D modeling software? It sounds simple enough, right?
Yeah, seems pretty straightforward.
But it's your chance to go beyond just naming software. Interviewers want to know how well you understand the software, your proficiency, and how you've actually used those skills in the real world.
So instead of just saying, oh, I know Blender, what would be a better way to answer that?
Think about specific projects where you used 3D modeling, but for footwear. Did you run into any roadblocks? Did you have any big wins? What about special plugins or techniques? This is your chance to highlight how you solve problems.
And your passion for footwear, right?
Absolutely. It shows you're not just someone who can use the software, but you can actually bring footwear visions to life.
Okay, so connect it back to real footwear projects.
Yeah.
Got it. What about staying up to date with the latest and greatest? That's going to be huge in this field, right?
You're so right. That question's almost a guarantee. How do you stay updated on the latest 3D printing technologies and materials? They're checking to see if you're committed to learning and growing in this field that just keeps changing.
So how do I convince them I'm not stuck in the Stone Age?
Instead of just listing general resources, try to be more specific. Talk about certain industry magazines or conferences you've been to. Maybe mention influential designers or researchers you follow.
Like, always read Footwear Innovation magazines, something like that.
Exactly. Or, I've learned so much from designer so-and-so who's a pioneer in using sustainable materials for 3D printed footwear. Stuff like that.
So show them you're actively searching for knowledge, not just waiting for it to show up.
Yeah. You want to seem genuinely curious about the latest advancements, that you're really investing in your growth as a professional. You can also mention any times you tried out new materials or techniques for your own projects.
Gotcha. Okay, speaking of projects, how do I make sure they know my designs are actually, doable, like that they can be made in real life?
Ah, good one. That's where the question, how do you ensure that your 3D models are production ready, comes in.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
They're trying to see if you understand the whole process of creating footwear, not just the design part.
It's more than just making it look pretty on a computer, right?
Exactly. Have you considered things like, what are the materials like? Are there any tolerances? Can 3D printers even handle it? Have you tested and refined your models? Do you work with manufacturers to make sure things are feasible?
So it's about the whole package, from start to finish. It's about being practical.
Totally. You could even mention using simulation software to catch potential problems before you even start printing. It shows you really pay attention to the details.
Simulation software, that's where a RoleCatcher's AI feedback could come in handy. You can give me tips on how to weave those details into my answers, right?
That's right. RoleCatcher looks at the specific job description and then tells you what to focus on. So if the job requires you to work closely with manufacturers, it might suggest you talk more about how you communicate and use feedback in your designs. It's like having a virtual coach, getting you ready for that specific interview.
I love that. Okay, shifting gears a bit. I know teamwork is super important in any design field. How should I address that in the interview?
Oh, for sure. You can expect a question like, how do you collaborate with designers and manufacturers to make those footwear designs a reality? Footwear development is a team effort, right? You need good communication. You need to listen to each other. And you need to bridge that gap between the creative vision and what's actually possible technically.
So it's about showing off those soft skills, like giving and receiving feedback, making sure everyone's on the same page.
You got it. Think back to specific instances where you navigated tough communication situations or helped things run smoothly. Did you smooth over any disagreements about design ideas? Did you break down technical stuff for team members who weren't as technical? Those experiences show you can work well in a team.
That makes total sense. And I was looking at RoleCatcher's career guide earlier, and it mentioned that footwear 3D developers often work with people who have different levels of technical expertise. Is that something worth mentioning?
Oh, absolutely. If you can show that you can explain complex things clearly and adapt your communication style to whoever you're talking to, it shows you're flexible and that you have good interpersonal skills. It's all about being a team player, connecting with the creative types and the technical gurus, and making sure that transition from concept to reality goes smoothly.
Love it. Okay, let's talk about the bottom line, the money. How do I talk about the cost and practicality of my designs in the interview?
How do you ensure that your 3D models are optimized for cost and manufacturability? That's the question you're waiting for. They want to see that you're thinking about the financial side of things, not just the beauty of the design, and that you can create designs that can actually be produced without breaking the bank.
So it's a balancing act. Creative vision versus real-world limits. How do I show them I can handle that?
Talk about strategies you've used to cut down on waste, simplify designs to make them easier to produce, or even consider different manufacturing methods that might save money.
Makes sense. Show them I'm not just an artist off in a dream world, but I get how things actually get made.
Exactly. This is another spot where knowing the latest trends is a big plus. If you've done research on new sustainable materials that are good for the environment and the budget, that's gold. It shows you're not just a designer, but you're a forward thinker. You're an innovator.
Right. Sustainability and keeping costs down, two birds, one stone. Now let's get technical. 3D printing doesn't always go perfectly right. How do I address that?
You'll probably get a question like, how do you troubleshoot and resolve issues that come up during the 3D printing process? 3D printing can be tricky, lots of variables, so bumps in the road are pretty much guaranteed. They want to see if you can figure out what's causing the problem, come up with possible solutions, and then fix it quickly.
So show them I'm resourceful and can think on my feet when things go wrong.
Exactly. Think back to those times when you hit unexpected snags while printing. What did you do to troubleshoot? Did you check online, talk to colleagues, mess around with the settings? Sharing those stories paints a picture of you as a problem solver who doesn't freak out when things get tough.
Okay, got it. I'm guessing RoleCatcher's AI feedback can help me tailor those examples to what each job is looking for.
You bet. RoleCatcher can tell if your examples are relevant and suggest ways to make them even stronger. So if they want someone who can solve problems independently, it might suggest you focus on times when you fixed a printing problem all by yourself.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about something I'm really passionate about. Sustainability. How do I bring that up during the interview?
How do you integrate sustainability into your 3D modeling and printing processes? That's your chance to shine.
So it's not enough to just say, I care about the planet.
Nope, definitely not. Show them you understand the whole life cycle of a product, from the first sketch to when it's finally thrown away. Think about ways to cut down on material waste, make designs last longer and be easier to repair, and even research materials that can biodegrade or innovative recycling techniques.
I've actually been looking into bio-based materials, like stuff made from plants or algae. Should I bring that up?
Yes. Sharing specific examples of your research or personal projects shows you're proactive about sustainability. Remember, the footwear industry wants people who are passionate about making a positive impact, so showing them you care about this stuff can give you a real edge.
Awesome. Okay, I'm really interested in custom fit footwear. It seems like 3D printing opens up so many possibilities there. Will interviewers be interested in that?
Absolutely. When they ask, how do you approach creating custom fit footwear using 3D printing technology, that's your cue. Show them you understand emerging technologies and can apply them in cool new ways.
It's like taking the bespoke tailoring idea from fashion and bringing it into the world of shoes.
Exactly. You could talk about how you use 3D scanning to get accurate foot measurements, your process for designing and tweaking models for a perfect fit, or even your knowledge of different materials and printing settings to get different levels of flexibility and support.
So it's about showing them I'm not just a designer, but a bit of a tech expert too.
More like a tech-savvy designer. Don't forget to mention the challenges of custom fit production too, like cost and scalability. Show them you're not just excited about the tech, but that you understand how to make it work in the real world.
Gotcha. Okay, one last question for this part of the deep dive. How do I talk about the safety and regulations of footwear design during the interview?
Oh, that's a good one. The question, how do you ensure that your 3D models meet safety and regulatory requirements? Might not be as flashy as talking about the latest trends, but it's super important. Shoes have to meet certain standards, especially custom fit ones, to make sure they're comfortable, they perform well, and most importantly, that they're safe.
So it's about proving that I'm not just a creative type, but that I'm responsible and understand the rules.
Exactly. Talk about your knowledge of relevant safety standards, how you test and check your designs, and even your understanding of materials and printing techniques that are known for durability and safety.
Got it. It's about showing them that I'm doing everything I can to make sure my designs are not only cool and innovative, but also safe and reliable for whoever's wearing them.
Absolutely. You want to come across as a well-rounded professional who gets the balance between creativity, technical skills, and a commitment to safety and following the rules.
This has been so helpful. We've covered a ton of ground, from those tough interview questions to 3D printing and sustainability. I'm feeling way more confident about that interview now.
Awesome, but we're not done yet. We'll be back to go even deeper into the world of footwear 3D development, and we'll show you how RoleCatcher can help you totally rock that interview. Stick around.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
See you soon. Welcome back to our Footwear 3D Development Deep Dive. We've been taking apart those interview questions, and now it's time to see how all this knowledge turns into an awesome career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just about acing the interview, right? It's about getting this industry the career path and figuring out where your passion fits into all of it.
You got it. And RoleCatcher's Career Guide, that's a gold mine for this kind of info. It's got everything, the industry, possible career paths, how much you can expect to make, even tips for growing professionally.
I was looking through the guide, and one thing that jumped out was the huge demand for footwear 3D developers. Seems like every company wants someone who can blend technology, design, and sustainability.
That's a great observation. Lots of demand. That's a good sign for anyone getting into this field. It means there are tons of chances to grow, to move up, and of course, to get a good salary.
So how can I use this knowledge to my advantage during the interview?
Well, when they ask about your career goals, you can talk about how excited you are to be joining this fast-growing field. You can even mention specific things that get you pumped up, like specializing in sustainable materials or exploring custom-fit technology.
I like that. It's not just about finding any job. It's about finding a career that I'm actually passionate about.
Exactly. And that's where showing off your knowledge of industry trends comes in. Remember those publications, those designers, those conferences we talked about earlier? Mentioning them during the interview shows that you're not just there for the paycheck, you're invested in the future of footwear design.
Right. It's about being a lifelong learner, wanting to be ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Speaking of evolving, the footwear industry is embracing technology like crazy. Remember that discussion about simulation software? That's just one example of how automation and digital tools are changing the way we design and make shoes.
Yeah. It's amazing how technology is changing everything, even the shoes we wear.
You're telling me. And this brings up a really important point. Remember the question about working with designers and manufacturers? Well, in this tech-driven world, being able to communicate and collaborate is more important than ever.
I can see that. You need to be able to speak the language of both the creative folks and the techies. Everyone has to be on the same page.
Exactly. And your knowledge of industry trends can help here too. You could mention how these digital design tools are making it easier for designers and manufacturers to work together. Faster prototypes, quicker production, it's all connected.
It's like we're breaking down the walls between designing and making the shoes. Everything's more streamlined.
Exactly. And for aspiring footwear 3D developers, it's key to understand and embrace these tech advancements. They're not just changing how shoes are made, they're opening up new possibilities for innovation, customization, and sustainability.
Speaking of technology, we've mentioned RoleCatcher's AI a few times. How can it help with interview prep?
Okay, so RoleCatcher's AI, it's a seriously powerful tool. It can help you tailor your answers to different jobs and even give you personalized feedback. It looks at job descriptions, figures out the keywords and skills they're looking for, and then gives you tips on how to work those things into your answers.
So it's like a career coach that knows exactly what recruiters are looking for.
You got it. It helps you create a resume that really hits the mark. Practice your answers like you're in the actual interview, and even get feedback on your delivery and what you're saying. It's like a secret weapon for job hunting.
That sounds incredible. Especially in a competitive field like this, you need every advantage you can get.
Absolutely. And here's another way RoleCatcher's AI can help you stand out. It uses something called reverse matching. Instead of just applying for jobs, employers can actually find you based on your skills and experience.
Hold on. Employers can find me through my RoleCatcher profile.
Exactly. It's like having a recruiter working for you 24/7. Optimize your profile with RoleCatcher's AI, and companies searching for talent might just stumble upon you.
That's amazing. It takes so much pressure off and opens up new possibilities.
Exactly. And as the footwear industry continues to go all in on tech, tools like RoleCatcher are going to become even more important for finding that dream job.
This is all so interesting. We've talked about interview questions, career paths, and the role of technology in the future of footwear. I feel so much more prepared and excited about getting into this field.
I love to hear that. But we're not quite done yet. We need to look at some of those emerging trends that are shaping the future of footwear design. Stick with us for the final part of our deep dive where we'll talk about 4D printing, bio-based materials, and all the possibilities of custom fit technology. You don't want to miss it.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into becoming a footwear 3D developer. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? We've covered so much: interview questions, career paths, the role of technology, all shaping the future of footwear.
It has been a whirlwind tour. And as we wrap things up, let's step back and look at the big picture, the future of footwear, and how you can be a leader in this exciting field.
Sounds good to me. I'm always eager to learn about the latest and greatest in tech and design. So what trends should aspiring footwear 3D developers be keeping an eye on?
Well, one of the most fascinating things happening right now is 4D printing.
4D printing. That sounds like science fiction.
It does, doesn't it? Imagine shoes that can actually change their shape, their properties, all based on the wearer or even the environment.
So we're talking shoes that adjust their cushioning for different surfaces, or maybe even shoes that can expand and contract.
Exactly. And 4D printing is just one example of how technology is pushing the boundaries in footwear. Another hot area is bio-based materials.
I've heard a bit about those. Are those the ones made from plants and algae?
Yep, that's right. They offer a sustainable and biodegradable alternative to those traditional petroleum-based materials. So we could see shoes that are not only stylish and perform well, but are also easy on the planet.
That's awesome. So we're talking shoes that are good for our feet and good for the environment.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important for any footwear 3D developer to really embrace sustainable practices and make them a part of their designs. Whether it's using recycled materials, cutting down on waste, or exploring those bio-based alternatives, there are so many ways to make a real difference.
I like that. To think that I could help create a more sustainable future, all through footwear design, that's pretty inspiring.
It is inspiring, and with technologies like 4D printing and bio-based materials on the rise, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
They really are. That's what makes this field so exciting.
You got it. If you've got a passion for innovation, for technology, for making things better, then footwear 3D development gives you this incredible opportunity to shape the future of an industry that's always evolving.
This deep dive has been amazing. Seriously. I've learned so much. The skills, the knowledge, the trends that are shaping this whole field. I feel ready to tackle that interview head on.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, preparation is key. Take what you've learned from this deep dive, use those awesome RoleCatcher tools, and let your passion and expertise shine through in that interview.
I will. And to everyone out there who wants to be a footwear 3D developer, keep learning, keep experimenting, keep pushing those boundaries. The future of footwear needs your creativity, your innovation.
Well said. It's a fantastic time to be in this industry. We can't wait to see what you create.
This has been an incredible journey. We started with nailing those interview techniques, then we explored cutting-edge technologies, and we even talked about the importance of sustainability. I'm feeling super inspired and empowered to take that next step in my journey to becoming a footwear 3D developer.
And we're here to cheer you on every step of the way. Remember, the future of footwear is in your hands. Go out there and make it amazing.